This is Mrs. Pedrosa, Director of Curriculum and Instruction. The following presentation includes the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment for the spring of 2022 testing results and the Start Strong assessment results for the fall of 2022 testing administration. We'll begin with the 2021-2022 New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment summary results. Please note that to protect student privacy, data for cohorts with fewer than 10 students are excluded from this report. Please also note this assessment was administered in the spring of 2022. And after that administration, we were notified by the Department of Education that this testing administration was a field test for the graduating class of 2023. As you are aware, 2022 marked the first administration of the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. Consistent with the above law, there is no graduation assessment requirement for any student who is expected to graduate with the class of 2023. The graduation assessment requirements for the classes of 2024 and 2025 remain in place and are available for districts on the Graduation Assessment Requirements page, which is linked above. In looking at the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment results, it's important to note that data needs to be interpreted carefully and that this is a snapshot that provides information about a student at one particular point of time. We are committed as a district to using multiple measures to assess student progress and attainment. And as we begin to unpack all of this data, we will look closely at the level of all of our students to see what types of changes need to be made to our curriculum, our instructional practices, and our tiered systems of support. Also, when looking at this presentation, reference points to consider include guiding questions such as, how did students perform on the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Field Test? How do results compare across subgroups? And of course, moving forward, we have included a plan for how we will address instructional capacity and focus on core instruction, intervention, and extended school year opportunities for our students. We'll begin with the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Analysis. This particular slide, the data indicates the number of students who tested in ELA and math. In ELA, we had 29% passing with the state average at 39%. In math, we had 37% passing with the state average of 50%. Overall, in math and ELA, we had 33% passing, and the state average was 45%. This is the same data, but in a bar graph. Our next analysis will include demographic information. The data represents the subgroups. It includes race, total number of students tested, number of students passing and not passing. The dash represents that there was less than 10 students in that particular group. For example, in ELA, there were 10 Asian students who tested. 50% passed and 50% did not pass. There were 29 Black students tested in ELA with 66% not passing and 34% who passed. There were 140 white students who tested in ELA with 71% not passing and 29% passing. In math, 90% of the Asian students passed and 10% of the students did not pass. There were 29 Black students who took the math assessment with 31% passing and 69% not passing. 140 white students took the math assessment. 38% passed, 62% did not pass. Steps to address deficiencies. Progress monitoring is being utilized in English, language arts, and mathematics classrooms through Linkit benchmark data, Big Ideas Common Assessments, and Common Lit. Department meetings and grade levels are used to analyze student data, identify strengths and areas in need of improvement. This chart includes the same data, but in a bar graph form. This slide represents the subgroups by gender, female, male, and other. As you can see in ELA, 127 females tested with 25% of females passing and 66% math passing. There were 108 male students who were assessed. 21% passed and 79% did not pass. In math, 129 female students tested. 38% passed, 63% did not pass. Overall, in all subjects, 36% of female students passed and 64% did not. 29% of males passed math and 71% did not pass. Steps to address specific deficiencies include progress monitoring through linked benchmarks, big ideas common assessments, and analysis in department meetings. This particular chart is the same data, but in a bar graph form. This next slide represents the subgroup data by program. This includes free and reduced lunch, gifted and talented, section 504, English language learners, special education, general education, and all students. This is the same data, which includes subgroup by program, but in a bar graph form. Next steps regarding our analysis of the New Jersey graduation proficiency assessments include evaluating the instructional tools, strategies, methods, and interventions implemented, and adjusting them if needed. We'll review curriculum for pacing and focus on power standards. We'll continue to drill down data. We will include administration of the Linkit New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment in February of 2023. We will continue to conduct vertical and horizontal articulation. We will have PLC data analysis. We'll continue to support block scheduling and opportunities for college and career readiness at the high school. And we've also included for our staff, our families, and for the community, a link that goes to the New Jersey Student Learning Assessments and New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessments. This includes test content and sample questions. We'll continue our presentation with the 2022-2023 Start Strong summary results. Please understand to protect student privacy, data for cohorts with fewer than 10 students are excluded from this presentation. This assessment is intended to be used as a diagnostic data. The Start Strong assessment window was updated. Initially, the testing was supposed to be done by the end of September, but the state allowed us to extend our testing window to October 21st, 2022. The Start Strong results were captured in the fall of 2022, and they're based on a subset of prioritized prior year academic standards. They were administered in ELA grades 4 through 10, mathematics grades 4 through 12, including Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry, and in science grades 6, 9, and 12. They were administered in approximately 45 to 60 minutes time, and they did provide immediate results to educators through the assessment platform. Additionally, this assessment included the same accessibility features and accommodations as the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment, including forms in Spanish and text-to-speech. We'll begin with ELA Start Strong results from grades 4 through 10. The Start Strong assessment utilized 3 performance levels. Strong support may be needed, some support may be needed, and less support may be needed to aid educators and families in making decisions about the types of supports that students may need. The assessments are not meant to replace any preferred assessment strategies being used locally, but can be used to complement existing efforts to gather standards-based data, such as local benchmarks, writing samples, assignments, homework, etc. The intended purpose of this information is to use it as a diagnostic tool to identify prerequisite skills and concepts where students may need additional support and to address learning gaps. This data is given in a timely fashion to assist teachers to drive their instruction. Teachers are able to view specific questions and to address learning gaps. They are also able to look at standards and determine if students may need additional instruction and support. These ELA data results represent grades 4 through 10 and identify the 3 levels of support. Strong support may be needed, some support may be needed, or less support may be needed. This particular slide is the same data, but in a bar graph form. This slide represents the Start Strong mathematics data. Again, the results represent 3 areas of support: strong support, some support, and less support. This particular slide is the same data, but in bar graph form. This is the fall Start Strong science data for grades 6, 9, and 12. And once again, you see the support levels, going from strong support, some support, or less support may be needed. This particular slide is the same data, but in bar graph form. This slide represents the ELA Start Strong data from grade 4, but it is an elementary school comparison, and it breaks down the number of students tested, the number of students needing support in level 1, level 2, and level 3 at MTES, Ridgeway Elementary School, Whiting Elementary School, and then also by district, which would be all 3 elementary schools combined. This next slide is the ELA Language Arts Grade 5 school comparison. Once again, it breaks it down by school: Manchester Township Elementary, Ridgeway Elementary, Whiting Elementary, and then it also gives us our district elementary school scores in total. This next slide is grade 4 mathematics school comparison. It gives us the percentage of students who had level 1 support, 2, or level 3 support by school: Manchester Township Elementary, Ridgeway Elementary, Whiting Elementary, and then it also gives us our district breakdown for our elementary schools as a whole. This next slide is grade 5 mathematics school comparison. This gives us the school comparison for elementaries and breaks it down by Manchester Township Elementary, Ridgeway Elementary, Whiting Elementary, and it also gives us our overall district elementary scores in mathematics grade 5. The next is our actual scores for Manchester Township Middle School, ELA, in grades 6, 7, and 8. This slide is Manchester Township Middle School Start Strong results in mathematics in grades 6, 7, 8, and Algebra 1. This next slide is the Manchester Township High School, ELA grade 9. And this next slide is Manchester Township High School mathematics for Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. And then there's also a combined scores for all grades. Of course, the rest of the district does not appear on these slides because we only have one high school. This slide is actually the results of the Start Strong by subgroup and race. This is the race broken down for ELA from grades 4 and 5, 6 through 8, and our high school as well. Subgroup races include Asian, Black, Hispanic, other, white, and all students. This next breakdown is the 2022 fall testing administration for Start Strong, mathematics by subgroup and race. This next is the results from the fall 2022 science administration of the Start Strong, and it's broken down by subgroups race. The next is the 2022-2023 Start Strong administration, and it's broken down for ELA by subgroup of gender. This next is the fall 2022 Start Strong testing administration, and this is the mathematics results, and it's broken down by subgroup gender: female, male, all students. Once again, the grade band is elementary grades 4 through 5, middle school 6, 7, and 8, high school Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Middle school grade band includes any Algebra 1 or geometry results taken in middle school. This next slide is the Start Strong data by subgroup gender for science. And the next slide is the Start Strong data by subgroup program for ELA. The programs are free and reduced lunch, gifted and talented, Section 504, including ESL students, English language learners, stands for ELL, special ed, general ed, and all students. Once again, it's broken down by grade bands, and it goes into the 3 support levels. 1, strong support. 2, some support. 3, less support. This next slide is the Start Strong data administered in the fall by subgroup gender for math. This next slide is Start Strong data by subgroup program for science. After looking at all of this data, as a team, including our teachers and all of our support and instructional coaches, we discussed supports that are needed to target student achievement and accelerate learning. We will implement extended day programs targeting specific skill deficits and standards that have been identified through summative and formative assessments. We will continue to expand our summer programs to provide opportunities for more students to attend and receive remedial supports necessary to accelerate their learning. We will make sure that students have adequate access to technology and internet capabilities for all learners. We'll provide professional development time for collaboration and identification of core standards from the previous year that need to be addressed. And upon completion of the Start Strong assessments, building and district assessment committees analyze data by grade level so that teachers could see performance data in real time and make instructional shifts as needed. We'll continue to have department and grade level meetings to data dive and have vertical articulation. We thank you for your continued support. Feel free to contact building administration and the curriculum department with any questions.